Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Bronx Reef Brock, and I just want to give you guys a basic overview or tour of the engine room on the new 90-gallon build. It's basically the same as it was before, with a key upgrade that I made myself. I did a DIY project here. But basically, what you're looking at right now is my sump, my skimmer. This would be the new lighting system, if you want to call it a lighting system. It's a light strip. Just gave me some supplemental lighting that I needed here to brighten things up a bit. I'm using the BRS dual reactor for the GFO and the carbon, which is working out very well for me. I don't use too much GFO. I do use a lot of carbon though. I'm currently using the Bubble Magus Curve 5 skimmer. Skimmer's a beast. I love it. I've never had a day of trouble with this skimmer at all. Those are the basic supplements, the fuel, the reeferoids, typical stuff. You gotta have that stuff if you're gonna run a nice reef tank and make sure everyone's happy in there, especially the corals. That's my backup alarm system for any leaks, which works out great. It's like $20 at Home Depot. So we'll slide over to the next compartment and you'll see I have my Chaeto growing very well. I have a lot of marine pure spheres down there, which adds to the surface area. There's a million copepods down there. You can see some of them on the glass. The Chaeto grows very well. Once again, it's growing under a shop light from Home Depot, another $20 expenditure. It's just very cheap. My flow rate, as you can see, into the next chamber, into this baffle, is perfect. I love the way the water skims and it goes right into this chamber where the pinky pads are. I use these pads rather than normal filtration. I don't use filter socks too often. I do have some in right now. But after the water hits the pinky pads, it goes right into some more marine pure spheres and it goes right under the baffle and hits that MJ1200 that runs the reactor for the GFO and the carbon. Next up, you'll see the float switch for the JBJ auto top off, and you'll see some of my janky plumbing. I also keep the Jabo DP4 here for my dosing pumps for the carbon, calcium, alkalinity, magnesium, and I also dose Acro Power from this location. And that works great. I have them in Voss bottles. Again, never had any problem. As long as the tubes are secure, you shouldn't have a problem with this. And the pump has run great for me for about a year so far. So I haven't had any problems with the Jabo product. On the other side, I have an old stereo component cabinet that I am turning into my Neptune Apex cabinet. Where right now I'm housing until I get my Apex, I'm housing another Jabo DP5. Dosing pump, and from that I'm dosing iodine, potassium, strontium, and boron. Don't dose boron unless you have one of those dosing pumps that can swirl it up. It has to be shaken before it can be used, so I'm usually shaking it up every day in order for it to work properly. So that's a really silly idea unless you have that type of dosing pump. So one of the key things to my manifold, other than me being able to take it apart through these unions and replacing it or adding on, I can use this first ball valve here to recirculate my water. And so everything that comes from a return pipe, some of the water will come back through this ball valve and into the refugium area, just to make sure the water is not stagnant, to mix things up and to keep the water flowing properly. So what will happen is it'll come from the return from the CJ pump. It goes up into another union where I can take this off and replace the pump if I have to another ball valve, to a curve, and that can either go to the right, which leads up to the display tank, and it can go to the left through the manifold, which will eventually go through to a chiller, to a calcium reactor, or whatever I decide to hook up, to a recirculating ball valve and the union there, and it'll go up to the left side of the tank to the return on the left side. I believe personally that every tank should have a manifold. You should have options as you expand your setup, as your tank grows, as your hobby grows, as your experience grows. Having a manifold gives you that flexibility to do your thing. One last thing here. In the drain pipe here from these tubes, it does go down into this little chamber here, and it flows over into, once again, another pinky pad. And here you see the filter socks. I do use filter socks on the weekends, mostly when I'm doing maintenance, when I'm doing the when I'm cleaning the tank in general, because it helps me out with the help getting out the fine particulates and things like that. And of course the skimmer does its job as well. During the week I clean the skimmer cup maybe once a week, if that, and the body of the skimmer I clean maybe once a month. And that's pretty much the tour of the engine room. I want you folks to be inspired. I want you to realize that this is not an expensive thing. Everything here is within budget. There's nothing overpriced here. You can do this. Hopefully in the next video I'm going to show you guys the display tank with all the new corals and the new fish, and we'll move forward from here with some success. No more tank crashes. Thanks for watching, folks. This is Bronx Reefer Brock. Peace.